Welcome incoming freshman class at the University of Michigan. My name is Robert, and I'm a senior majoring in philosophy. I remember my orientation and being worried about making friends and scheduling courses. Don't worry, orientation is a lot of fun. You're going to have the opportunity to socialize, get to know the campus, meet with your academic advisors, and schedule courses that you can be excited about. This video is an introduction to the LSA degree. We look forward to seeing you at orientation, and go blue!
Welcome to the University of Michigan in the College of Literature, Science, and the Arts. Soon, you'll be here for summer orientation, but before you arrive, we wanted to give you a brief overview of the LSA degree and the types of classes you can take while you're here. LSA offers over 2,000 classes each semester, so you'll have a lot to choose from. For the next 15 minutes or so, we'd like you to follow along as we introduce you to LSA, review the basic degree requirements, and get you ready for summer orientation. Along the way, we'll hear from current U of M students about how they approach the degree requirements, follow their passions, and make the most of their time at Michigan. The LSA degree is divided into 4 parts. We'll talk briefly about each part in this tutorial, starting with the general LSA requirements. The general college-wide requirements make up about 1/4 of your total LSA degree. Give or take, this ends up being about 30 credits. To put this into context, the college requires a minimum of 120 total credits to graduate.
There are 5 general LSA college requirements: the first-year writing requirement, the upper-level writing requirement, the race and ethnicity requirement, the quantitative reasoning requirement, and 4th-term proficiency in a language other than English. Let's break it down. The first-year writing requirement is a course taken at some point during your first year and is meant to help prepare you for writing at the college level. This course will help you learn how to write analytically, to synthesize texts, develop strategies for revising and editing, and collaborate with peers to develop goals for writing. There are a variety of courses that meet the first-year writing requirement. You can find a listing of these courses in the first-year course guide you received in the mail.
To fulfill my first-year writing requirement, I decided to take a history class. It was History 195, Social History of Medicine and Disease in the Americas. And I decided to take it because it was a subject that I had absolutely no knowledge about. And I didn't really want to take a traditional English class because, a lot of people take AP English in high school, and it's just something that I wasn't really that interested in taking again. And so I decided to take this, and we got to write a lot of really cool papers, do a lot of really neat research, and I learned a lot about not just medicine in Americas, but also a lot of social history that I don't think I would have really noticed had I not taken the class.
The upper-level writing requirement is meant to help students master their writing skills in a chosen discipline or major. The course taken to fulfill this requirement is taken sometime during the junior or senior year.
The race and ethnicity requirement looks at race, racism, gender discrimination, or any instance of intolerance or persecution to one group by another. There are a wide variety of courses that meet this requirement, and all can be found by using the advanced search on the course guide. Some examples of courses that meet the R&E requirement are Introduction to Anthropology, Perspectives in Women's Health, Peoples of the Middle East, and Native American peoples of North America.
The class that I used to fulfill my race and ethnicity requirement, as well as my natural science requirement, was Anthro-Bio 361. This was a class about biology, society, and culture, and kind of the intersection between the three. And I really thought it was very interesting because I never really thought of science in kind of like a cultural lens before, but this class really got me thinking, and I learned that in the past and even now, scientific findings are oftentimes used to marginalize races, and it has a really big bearing on culture and vice versa. I don't really consider myself super science oriented, so when I saw that the class was anthropology and bio, so it's anthro-bio, I had some qualms about it. But as soon as I settled myself into the class, I realized that it was as much about culture as it was about science. And in the end, I learned a lot about both aspects, both humanities and biology. So it was a really good mix, and it was a good way to meet both requirements.
The 4th general LSA degree requirement is the quantitative reasoning requirement. This requirement focuses on proficiency using and analyzing quantitative information. Examples of courses that meet the quantitative reasoning requirement include physics, astronomy, math, economics, oceanography, and statistics.
For my QR requirement, I decided not to take a calculus course or mathematics course, and I actually took a logic course through the philosophy department. And I found myself really engaged with the material. We learned how to analyze arguments and learn whether, for example, an argument's valid or not valid. At the time I was interested in applying to law school, so the logic course had a real practical value. The professor actually gave us LSAT practice questions for us to work on and gave us feedback on our progress.
Finally, the last LSAad college-wide requirement is the language requirement. Learning a language helps shape how we understand and negotiate our world. The language requirement is meant to prepare students for a world that is impacted by globalization. During orientation, you may take a placement exam. If you choose to continue a language that you started in high school, this will help place you at the appropriate level. This doesn't stop you, however, from choosing to start a whole new language. The University of Michigan teaches over 41 languages, including Swahili and Urdu, Sanskrit, Dutch, and many others.
Now let's take a look at the next part of your requirements, distribution. Distribution is the essence of your LSA degree. It is where you get to expand upon the ideas of your major, or allow yourself the freedom to explore potential majors if you are undecided. For example, you might be interested in majoring in political science, but have an interest in a particular region of the world. Through your distribution credits, you would have the opportunity to take a religion or cultural class to better understand how the politics of that region may have been formed. Distribution classes are also the way for students to try out classes from different departments to learn more about these areas and still have these classes count for more than just elective credits. Distribution is made up of two parts. The first part requires 21 credits, which are divided up into 3 areas. The first area is made up of natural science classes. While you may think these would be your typical biology, chemistry, or physics classes, based upon your experiences from high school, at U of M there is a wide variety of classes and topics you can choose from. Some examples might include an environmental class, or a class that focuses on AIDS and other health crises. The next major area is comprised of classes from the humanities, where you might learn about literature, religion, philosophy, or the visual and performing arts. The last area is comprised of classes that are designated as social sciences, which focus on the study of social behavior of individuals, groups, or societies.
So to meet my social sciences requirement, I took poli-sci and econ courses. And I found that these courses not only helped me in my political philosophy courses that were part of my concentration, but they also helped me when I was just reading the paper and watching the news. I was able to apply the concepts that I learned in those courses to current events and decide for myself what I thought about, what was going on in the world. And I think that that's something that's just really valuable for an educated person, for someone that's studying here at the University of Michigan, to be able to do. So I'm really grateful that I was able to gain those skills.
The second part of distribution requires 9 credits from 3 additional areas. There are 6 different areas to choose from, giving you a little bit of choice. The first 3 areas are the same as the ones from the first part of distribution: natural science, social science, and humanities. MSA, or Math and Symbolic Analysis, would be the 4th area. Math, statistics, and some logic classes are typical classes to meet this area. Creative expression and interdisciplinary are the 5th and 6th areas. A creative expression class is one where you make something or perform, so an art or dance class would fulfill this area. Interdisciplinary is a class that comprises 2 areas such as humanities and natural science, or social science and natural science. This is a newer category, and we have about a dozen classes that would meet this area. While some students may see these classes as just a bunch of credits they must check off, the students who really embrace the idea of a liberal arts education understand how these classes can often be some of their favorite classes at the University of Michigan.
Probably my favorite class I've taken in college was a creative writing class that fit into the distribution credits for a creative expression credit. And I love that class because it allowed me to think way more creatively than most of my concentration classes did. And it really opened up. It was the first time in my life really that I've had a class that allowed me to just create stories and write from my imagination. And that was a really neat experience for me. And it's also it's helped me realize that how much I love that kind of a creative expression, that creative experience.
The next major part of your LSA requirements will come from your major or concentration. Almost all majors here require that you take 30 credits from an approved list of classes that pertain to your chosen major. Some majors may have classes you have to take prior to beginning the core list of classes. These are called prerequisite classes. While classes from the core list of classes from your major cannot be used in distribution, some prerequisite classes may be part of your distribution credits. Likewise, you may have classes from your major that overlap with the college requirements, such as your upper-level writing requirement or quantitative reasoning requirement. I like to remind students that classes that make up your major are very focused on a particular area or topic, while classes from distribution are helping you to expand your knowledge outside of this department.
Any class that you take that does not fall into one of the first 3 areas of requirements would be considered elective credit. Most students will take about 30 elective credits. If you are bringing in AP credit, this would be counted as elective credit as it cannot be used in distribution or any of the other areas we have discussed. While these requirements may seem a bit daunting to you right now, if you simply choose classes that are of interest to you, you will find that you will have no trouble meeting all of these requirements in your 4 years at U of M. Also, you can always stop by and visit with your advisor if you have any questions about these requirements.